Hello, this is League Artem 3, and we're doing another Company of Heroes battle for you all, because I am a generous, nice man. This time, because I was really conscious of the fact that I'd done so many videos as the Americans, and you know, I didn't want to repeat myself constantly, even though most of my most amazing battles are the Americans. I thought I'd show a Panzer Elite game, and I'm really shit with the Panzer Elite. I haven't had many victories with them. But the two I have had, I won against the Brits that I also wanted to show you because it was more different, more kind of individual, but it was a really boring ass match, so I'm not sure if I'll post it yet or not. But this match against the Americans, who's led by our Rhino, is a good match. So he goes with the barracks, so that's the generic American start for most people, including myself really, unless like for a certain specific circumstance. So yeah, I send off my Kenton Crad to go and capture points across the map for me, while I send off my first group of Panzer Grenadiers. I also upgrade them with the gear because I think they're the first units that would probably come into combat. With my second squad of Panzer Grenadiers that I produce, what I normally do is I wait until I have the necessary funds and I build a Kampfgruppe company building. This gives you access to two of the best early game units with the Panzer Elite, and that is the infantry half-track and the mortar half-track. The mortar half-track being the equivalent of epicness in a can of Nazi death, of amazingness. That's what the equivalent of it is. But this is one of my earlier matches as the Panzer Elite, so you don't really see much of the mortar half-track as you should. So Rhino is using his first Marine squad and his engineers to capture points on the map. And I'm doing the same with my Panzer Grenadier squad. And once that's built, I send off my second Panzer Grenadier squad to go and help in these capturing shenanigans. And when I have the money, I think after realising, I think my advice as a noob's advice is to always go for 3 Panzer Grenadier squads before you make anything from your Kampfgruppe company. Otherwise you're waiting too long to get other infantry on the field, and you really need to match the Americans' output of units, at least to a certain level. So his second Marine squad are just shenaniganing up to the top corner of the map, and I begin this as quick as I can by capturing the left victory point and the ammo point at the same time. I also send my Kenton Crad to capture some of the USA's points, which he's tried to capture this engineer squad, just to kind of keep him on his toes, which is just the general plan. So, to stop his central victory point affecting my victory point total, I captured that one on the left, so it kind of balances it out, but he's already capturing the other one, so yeah. Confusingness ensues. So we just avoid that infantry squad there. We don't want to fuss with it just yet. I make my first infantry half-track, I think it's called, the one that is like the anti-infantry half-track, which is a very useful half-track, and you'll see why in a few minutes, hopefully. So I tried to cut off his supply lines here, and that worked without me realising it was working, which is awesome. So the first little shots go off on the city centre here, so his Marines just retreat away from that skirmish really, and I'm a bit like, oh shit, I don't know what to do, so I put my Panzer Grenadiers in this house to just hold my position, and he ironically does the same, so not a whole lot is accomplished there. His Marine squad recaptured this point that I got with the Kenton Crad, or the Kentrecken Cad, or the motorbike of sheer evilness, and I just get out of the way. And here we have the first proper engagement and the first indication of how good the infantry half-track can be. So his Marine squad advance on my Gura infantry pretty quickly, so my men are outnumbered, so I retreat them, knowing that will be a losing battle, and I bring in my infantry half-track, and what I do is, well, it opens fire on it anyway, so that gives me a suppression mode, which is absolutely brilliant. And then what you can do is you can stick in your Panzer Grenadiers squads inside, basically making them a three-way turret of supreme awesome death mode. So yeah, that basically goes my way, and thanks to the infantry half-track we scare off those infantry. And way, so that's a good example of the infantry half-track at its best. We're going to be careful for though, as it's extremely weak against everything. Even infantry fire does damage it pretty badly, especially when they get the bar upgrade. This is the most pointless machine gun emplacement in human history, because it just never actually gets involved in. I just use my Kenton crowd to just cause some disruption among his ranks. So seeing how effective that was at the time, I sent my infantry half-track supported with another infantry half-track to just disrupt this building that he's captured with the Marines. The plan being I wanted to force him out of here and just take complete control of the centre. That being the plan anyway. So I bring up my Panzer Grenadiers behind the graves just to give them some extra cover. And I try and flank the building with my other infantry half-track to try and just get as much fire on here, because you can see I'm committing a lot of firepower to this one particular house. Whilst I'm doing this, I'm also sending my weakened Panzer Grenadiers to cap his ammo point at the centre of... not the centre? Top bit of the map. So here's Rifle Squad and Engineer Squad are like, WTF, I'm not allowing you to do this to our building of awesomeness. So he opens fire on my infantry half-track, and I thought that, you know, 2 half-tracks could easily take out a Marine squad and Engineer Squad, and it turns out, because yeah, this was very early on, I didn't realise what the hell I was doing. Turns out they can't, and I do a horrible, desperate attempt to get them out of there. Doesn't go well. Really badly is more like it, but yeah, he brings up this other rifle squad as well to add to the screwiness, and my infantry half-track is just completely dominated, and I lose them both, unfortunately. And my skirmish to try and move his infantry out of the house just doesn't work, although I didn't lose any of my Panzer Grenadiers too badly. I go and just get them out of the way of those riflemen. Meanwhile, back at the base, I'm sending out a fresh Panzer Grenadier squad. And I'm regrouping it with my other squad to just try and hold down this infantry spam, because he now has recaptured the centre of the map pretty forcefully. So what I've done is I've built a Panzer Jäger command, and what this does is it allows you to give your Panzer Grenadiers the, I think it's the MP44, the super awesome machine gun ability, and this thing wrecks infantry. It absolutely destroys them. And to support it, I'm also creating an armoured car, a proper armoured car at that. So my top squad has to retreat, but we don't mind about that. What you want to see, my friends, is this MP44 in action. So he thinks he's got the central dominated. Well, 2 squads of these, well, you'll see what they do. So the best thing to do is just charge them straight into the fight. Don't even bother with long range, that's not what they're good at. At close range, they do this. They demolish infantry faster than you could say, OMG, WTF, I swear I had Marines behind that tractor earlier. So he tries to be sneaky and bring in another Marine squad. Doesn't work, and they get caught up in the massacre just as much as the other squad did. It doesn't matter if you put them in buildings either. MP44 at close range will still destroy infantry in buildings pretty badly at that. So he just tries to stick as many riflemen into this building as he can, just to try and give them as much support as possible. I retreat them, my Panzer Grenadiers, just because I don't want them to get too hurt, and what I do is I bring up my armoured car, and now with armoured support we can really damage this building and force those infantry out of there. And the armoured car is also very weak, a lot weaker than you might expect for a new player, but what it does is it's great at picking off infantry from a medium range, and basically the armoured car is the ultimate micromanagement tool. You need to focus a lot on it to actually get much out of it, but if you can be bothered to just focus some time and energy and effort on this armoured car, it can wreck units. Luckily for me, I didn't have to micromanage it at all, I just had to keep it in one position and just fire. So he brings some engineers to try and support his infantry, and that don't go well. I bring up my other 2 Panzer Grenadier squads from the base, a 3rd one even, and that completely wrecks the entire base of his plan. Oh yeah, points I forgot to mention. The company I picked was the Luftwaffe company, and this gives me access to the Luftwaffe ground forces, which for me are the equivalent of cow slaughter. They're just there to fill your ranks and keep the enemy distracted for as long as possible for your Panzer Grenadiers to do the work. As you can see there. So all of his Marines have suffered a horrible defeat, but now he's got a motor pool out, so that's not a good sign for myself. Seeing how good the armoured car was, I produced a 2nd armoured car, and I reinforced this Panzer Grenadier squad back at the base. So all this is going on, I need to push out this Marine squad that have been living here for just far too long for comfort.